Hi there, and welcome back to the Sticks Plus Twine podcast. This is episode 8. This is the post-Vogue Knitting Live episode. I just started recording. Of course, I got a phone call right in the middle of my introduction, so figures. Anyway, welcome back to all returning viewers. Anyone who's new, thank you so much for joining us. I'm overwhelmed by the amount of support that I've received for this podcast, and for something that just started out as something I just wanted to do for fun, I'm really, really pleased to see that I guess what I have to say is resonating with people, because I really enjoy doing this, so it's a lot of fun for me. I'm Eric, I am your host. I broadcast, record, all that fun stuff from Toronto, my home, and this episode is going to be a little bit lengthier, I think, than usual, because I have a lot of stuff to show. If I'm my eyes aren't quite sure where to go, this is the first time I'm recording using the actual front camera, so I can sort of see what I'm showing, because I wanted to make sure that you could see the stuff that I'm going to show you, my acquisitions. I'll get used to it eventually. I'm used to just recording the back camera because I don't like watching myself. I don't think any of us really do. Anyway, we have a group on Ravelry. Please feel free to join the group if you like. It is the Sticks Plus Twine podcast group. We've got a few fun things going on. We've got a T-spot that's happening. That's closed for the moment, but it doesn't mean we won't do another one. We've also got a knit-along that's happening that's closing in about 3 weeks for men's accessories. Basically knit to men's accessories and you could win some prizes. I've got one of the prizes has come in, so I will show you what that looks like. So thank you so much again. If you would like to click subscribe, you'll get notifications of when new episodes go live, and I try to record about once a week or so. A little bit late doing this one, but I had to catch up on some stuff from being away. So today, in my wintry sort of tea mug, I have pumpkin chai tea from David's, which I don't think it's very pumpkin-y. It's just, it kind of tastes like pumpkin pie spice, which is really not pumpkin-y. It's kind of traditional chai anyway, but it's good. I enjoy it. Chai is not my favorite. I made the mistake of buying a ton of the Tivana Oprah chai when she did it. Thinking, oh, great, it goes to charity, a portion of it. I don't care for it, I have to say. So friends that like chai, every time they come over, they get chai. Anyway, that'll keep me nice and toasty. It's a bit cold out. Not sure if you can hear it, but my heating is on because it is pretty cold outside, and I just wanted to make sure I stayed warm. I've got show notes in front of me, which is what I'm looking down at if I'm looking down at anything, because I've got 3 pages worth of stuff to go through. Yeah, and that doesn't even include the stuff all to the side here in this mountain to my side that you can't see yet is all of my acquisitions and stuff, and there's a lot of them. So let's get right into it. Let's start with works in progress. I'm going to start with a bit of an acquisition in that this is a new project bag that I received from my order from the House of Yarn Etsy shop, which is Chris Kelly from U University. I've got needles sticking out. If you haven't checked out our shop, you should. The bags are amazing. It came really, really super quickly. I did order 2 bags, one for a giveaway, and Chris kindly gave me another bag for another giveaway. So that will happen in future because I've got another cal that I think I want to do. So thank you so much, Chris. This is amazing. So inside my fabulous Doctor Who TARDIS Van Gogh inspired fabric, which as soon as I saw it, I jumped on it right away because I had to have it. And inside is my Japanese cable knitted hat. Well, the beginnings of it anyway. I just got the ribbing done during the class, which is good because I hate ribbing. But this is in Aran weight on, I think these are 10.5 needles on my Knit Picks interchangeables. This class was amazing. Maria from Subway Knits was the instructor, and she was fantastic. I'll talk more about the class itself and the classes that I took at Vogue Knitting Live a little bit later. But you can see I haven't got very far with this yet. It's being knit in the Loyal Aran weight 10-ply yarn, which I have to say I'm not a crazy fan of this yarn, but I love the color. I just don't care for how it knits. And I can see, look at that, there's a knot right in the very top strand of this brand new skein. Look at that, there's a join. I don't know if you can see that, but that just figures. Anyway, doesn't matter. The pattern's really interesting. I'll show the pattern a bit when I talk about the class. It's a free pattern, so I don't think it's really an issue for me to show what a Japanese pattern looks like. But I've got some other stuff from sort of the Japanese world. Oh, the heating just turned off. Great. Now maybe you can hear me properly. So this bag is fantastic, by the way. Kris, you did a great job. I'm so happy with these. So there we go. Work in progress 1. Work in progress 2. During Vogue Knitting Live, I got a message from Devrieze, who is one half of the Periscoping Sisters group and on Ravelry, to participate in, to me, my very first test knit, which I've never done. Considering I'm a relatively new knitter, and I think Chris Kelly sort of said, hey, you should ask Eric. I'm really honored to be asked because I don't knit shawls, and it's for a shawl pattern which Debbie has designed, and it's got an amazing story. It's really inspired by their sister, Wendy, who passed away, and it's a longer story, and I would suggest that when the pattern comes out, you'll want to know more about the story because it really touched me, which is why I immediately ran out yesterday. Although I had bought, well, you'll see how much I bought at Vogue Knitting Live. I had to go and buy the yarn to go and make this right away. So, and I've started on it. And it takes 2 colors, one variegated, one solid. And that's what this sort of jumble is here. I am knitting this pattern out of this first color. This is Sweetgeorgia Tough Love Sock in the raspberry colorway. And to go with it is the Rhichard Devrieze Candy Floss colorway. Rhichard is a indie dyer from Canada, actually. Not terribly far from where I am, but far enough that I wouldn't go, you know, just on a whim. But this, I thought these colors would be fantastic together. And when you see the pattern, you can see why they would be really cool together. So this is kind of the work in progress on that. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong side. This is the right side. So I've not got much farther on it than really when I started, but sorry, I'll just move that needle so it's not making so much noise. I don't think that helped any. Sorry. But it is a garter section with stripes, and then there's a really interesting flower. It's a flower stitch, which provides a little bit of openness and laciness to it. The only thing is it's going to need some blocking, obviously, so you can really see what it looks like. And you know what? My stitch count on at this point, I'm out by 1 stitch somewhere somehow, and I'm going to figure it out, and I'll just adjust. You know, no big deal. I'm sure it's a really forgiving kind of pattern, but I'm really enjoying this. I spent maybe about a half an hour on it last night. Just got through the garter section, the striping, and then I just spent maybe an hour or 2 on it this morning, just getting some of that. Let me just hold these needles. Getting some of that flower section done. And this is again on Knit Picks Interchangeables. These are US 5s, and I'm not sure what that is in millimeters. I'm so sorry. Because the pattern just said US 5s, so that's what I'm using. Anyway, I'm really enjoying that. I think the colors would be amazing. It's so different for me to be using like real color, especially this sort of super saturated one. This is not, anything I would pick for me. Clearly, this is not going to be for me. I'm going to give this to my mom when it's done. I've never knit her anything, so this will be first time. So that's a work in progress. And let me just move that over there. If I can dig under my pile, there we go. I made a bit more progress on my Cozy Memories blanket, which you can see I've got a few more squares. So after I sort of said, hey, if you want to send me some squares, anybody, and I'm starting this, please do. I got a bit overwhelmed with some donations, and I'll talk about that in a minute as well when I get into acquisitions. This square is it's a little mini that Andi from AndreSueKnits podcast sent me, which I loved. I'm not sure what this yarn is. Andi, maybe if you remember you can tell me, but I really enjoyed this. It was kind of fun. Nikki Slip's Etsy shop is where almost all the rest of these have come from to this point, and this square is, if you watch the Tiny Paper Foxes podcast, this is the skein that I gave to Jenny when I was at Vogue Knitting Live. Just thought it sort of fitting that one of the first podcasters that I started watching, that I would get to give her a matching skein to mine. And I'm sorry, there's something that's making noise that's over here. Let me just move that. That might be better. This square, you may, if you are a returning viewer, You may recognize this color. This is the Madeleine Tosh sock in the Moorland colorway. Guess what? This means I finished my socks. Yep, I finally did. I did not get much time to knit when I was at Vogue Knitting Live, ironically, because I was running around so much doing other stuff. But I did when I got home on Sunday. I finished the socks, Kitchener to toe, got it done, got them blocked, and they're on the blockers. So I'll show you that when we get to finished objects. Because it's my only finished object, I thought I had more, but turns out I don't. I just have a lot of acquisitions. Go figure. So that's, you know, kind of where that lives at the moment. So I'm just going to put that over there. We'll hide that for a moment. Okay. Where to go next? Let's do the socks. Let's show the finished objects. So what's really funny is I was a bit afraid of this yarn being that it has no nylon in it. I was kind of worried that it was not going to have some stretch. So, and that it wasn't going to be sort of big enough. And now that it's on the blockers, ta-da, you can see it's actually almost too big. These are the large Knitter's Pride sock blockers, and they're loose. So these are definitely going to be house socks. These are not going to be for wearing, I don't think, in anything other than maybe my hunters. I've got a pair of hunter boots. So I'm really happy with them, though. The fact that I got them done, that I did mess up on one of them. Which one was it? I can tell because the second sock I did not do very well, I will say. I was distracted. It was sort of done in bits and pieces, so really did not come together as easily as I had hoped. But I got to about here, and no, I just started the toe decreases, and I got all the way to about here, and then went, uh-oh. I wasn't paying attention. I was watching TV or something, and I forgot an entire needle, 2 needles worth of decreases. Oops. So I had to rip back all the way and redo it. Actually, it didn't take me as long as I thought. I kind of have taught myself how to throw a little bit. Sorry, I got a fluff. After watching Mina from Knitting Expat knit all of her socks when we were hanging out in New York, I kind of learned from her and developed my own sort of technique. I'm nowhere near as fast. That just won't happen. And that's okay. I don't need to be that fast. But I did learn kind of how to do it my way. So it went a lot faster this time. So this is cool. I'm really encouraged to try more socks and to knit some more of them. So I'm really happy about those. And you know what? These are Christmas socks. I'm not going to wear them that often anyway. So, but I'm thrilled. So I'm going to cast on some new socks soon. And you'll see why. Because I have so much sock yarn. One of the hazards of going shopping with Mina, I think, is it's all the sock yarns you could ever want. Yeah, it was amazing. We ran around like chickens with their heads cut off with all the sock yarn. Okay. I'm going to talk about Vogue Knitting Live. I think I'll do acquisitions first and then I'll do Vogue Knitting Live. So if you're not interested in hearing about Vogue Knitting Live but you just want to see all the yarns, I'll do that first because I know that that's what people have been asking me about on Instagram. What did I buy? So in no particular order, I'm just going to start showing what I got. So I picked up a skein of the Regia. This is the Henri and Carnos design line. This is color 2461. In the show notes, I'll put what the actual like person-friendly name is. I actually thought that this was a different colorway. It turns out I was wrong, but it's close to the one that I wanted. But I bought this at the Knitty City booth, and it was a bit insane in there to try and, because I bought these on this Saturday, and the Saturday was a far less accessible day for shopping, let's say. It was much easier on the Friday. But I love the colors in these. These are, you know, there's blues, and there's grays, and there's some orange and some yellow. There's some red. It's just really cool. I love this color, but it's not quite the one I wanted, so I'm still in the hunt for another one, and I'll show you that when I get it, because I will get it. So there's that. I'm sorry, I don't know what it is that's making some kind of weird noise over there. Hopefully you're not hearing it. It's not too distracting. So there's that one, which I love. And I'll come back to that one. I'll come back to these. Oh gosh, I really should have organized this a little bit better because there's so much of it to share. Needle adjacent things, let's do that. There was a booth that was selling Hiya-Hiyas. So these are about $12, $14 in Toronto. These were $8.80. So even with the exchange, they were worth getting. I got one US 2 40-inch circular non-high sharps. I got 2 sharps, one US 1, one US 1.5, and these are both in the sharps. So I'm kind of curious. I really want to try and figure out for myself what's the best size and needle for them. And I think different yarns will require different needles. So now I have a whole bunch of them, which is great. I used them to finish the Madeline Tosh sock, and I really enjoyed working with them. That was the non-sharps, and I really liked them. They were really cool. So, I'm serious that there is a chair full of stuff. Let's do this. One of the viewers of the podcast, who is such a lovely, lovely, lovely lady, Jessie. And Jessie is, I just want to get her name right because I think she deserves all the credit in the world. Lady Fringe, there we are. Because I met her and her sister, Ronnie, and Jessie was wearing the most amazing shawl and all this. I think she said she spun the yarn as well. She may have also dyed it, I'm not sure. I think she spun it. In this rainbow shawl. It was really easy to find her, so thanks for that. She gifted me not 1, not 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bags of minis from all of the socks that she has knit. And she said most of them are Madeline Tosh, they are opal, and there's, what else did she say? Miss Babs was in here, Lorna's Laces is in here. I won't be able to tell what is what necessarily, but I don't care. There's such gorgeous colors. I was overwhelmed by her generosity. These are all going, some are sparkly, some are rainbows, some are muted colors. I can only just imagine what her, I know she hasn't made all of these into socks, or maybe she has, but her wardrobe is so colorful. So my blanket's going to be just as colorful. So thank you so much, Jessie, for that. I haven't even had the heart to open and crack into these yet because I have just, I want to take my time and go through and figure out what they all look like. So they're lovely. Thank you, Jessie. Forgive me if some of these fall. Oh, no, it's good. And sorry about the crinkling if there's too much crinkling there. What other ones did I get? On one of the evenings when we did Jenny and I did our Podcasters meetup, I met so many amazing people. I'll talk about that in sort of my review of VKL. But I got to meet Gabby from Once Upon a Corgi, who gave me these 2 gorgeous little minis. Thank you so much, Gabby. And I got to meet Carlene from Carlenergy, who she said there's actually 3 minis in this one that she just put together, which actually that was really thoughtful and really convenient. She also gave me, I also got, I'm sorry if this, I don't remember, I'm getting confused. I think this was from Carlene as well. Hot cinnamon spice tea, so that's awesome. Thank you so much. I did buy some minis as well. I got some Madeline Tosh unicorn tails, and I just love some of these. This one is, oh yeah, this was all from Nitty City. And where is the color? Ink. Oh, of course. So I got ink. I'm hoping you can see that. I got, this one is Torchère. So beautiful, 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 bright, sort of pinky red. This one, of course, Whiskey Barrel. How could you go wrong with that one? Which I love this one. And I got this one, which is Magnolia Leaf, which I've also really thought was fantastic. So those are definitely going to be going into the blanket. So those are fabulous. I just love how squishy they are. Like I just want to I want a pillow filled with these. And then I also bought at another place. Yeah, I know. I'm falling into acquisitions, right? Yeah, I said I was going to do acquisitions. Okay. These are from Woolbearers. So these are all, now to me, it feels like it's a little bit of a thicker fingering weight. They are fingering, but it feels they're a little more loosely spun. So when you spin them up a little bit, they get a little bit tighter. But these are gorgeous little colors. I love these. Do they have color names? I just picked colors. Oh, medium gray. And then I got this one, which is avocado. And I got this one, which does not have a color on it. Oh, it does. This one is toffee. And this one is navy. Go figure. I'm only saying that because blues and grays all seem to be my colors. So this color palette, you will see something very similar to this coming up in a few minutes as well. But I love these. These feel really nice. They feel really woolly, which I like. They don't feel over-processed or anything. So clearly I've got some good colors. I've got some good variegated. I've got some good self-striping. So my blanket's going to be really nice. What I think is interesting about the Cozy Memories blanket is, for me, for garments, I prefer solid colors. I don't like a lot of pattern. Maybe a little texture, but I don't like a lot of pattern. But my blanket's kind of my place to play, where I can just use little bits and pieces. Overall, the colors are going to be all over the place, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm really, really enjoying just the thought of putting all that together. Oh, that was nice. Okay, I think once that tea mellows down and sort of cools down a bit, it actually tastes better. I'll just talk about this. So Knitty City, of course, one of New York's great yarn shops, they actually gave me this bag because I bought so much stuff from them. I got a few things. Mina and I spent some time at the store, but we also spent some time at the booth. So that's a great little bag to hold some minis in. I think that's what I'm going to put my minis in once I get them skeined up. Okay, where to go next? I want to talk about, okay, so Mina and I went and did a bunch of shopping from Knitting Expat. We spent a good chunk of the day on Friday together, almost all day actually, which was amazing. And then Saturday we spent more time with her again before the meetup. But then I ran into Jenny and Devin with Mina, and Gabby was there, and Tonya from Knitting Spring was there. And I literally was just beelining from the marketplace to go to meet Jessie before I went to another class. And here I was kind of nervous about meeting everybody because I thought, are they going to like me? Am I going to like them? Am I going to be seen as a bit of an interloper? Like, ooh, you're not really a knitter because you haven't been really around long enough. But I guess, you know, it kind of worked out best that I just sort of ran into them, which was great. So I had some stuff for Devin and Jenny, and she also had something for me, which was, I was so amazingly touched. She gifted me 2 fabrics, which, oh, this one's upside down. I should show it the right way. Oh, does it really matter? Not really. These 2 fabrics, and there's a lot of it. So I know these are going to be some amazing project bags at some point. Maybe a Notions pouch, I'm not sure. But these are amazing fabrics. They're gorgeous. I really love these. So she gave me those. Then she also gave me another bag of minis, which, I'm sorry for the reflection. I should probably take it out of the bag, but I don't want to make a lot of noise. I'm trying to keep all the minis from everybody who gave them to me separate so that I know who gave me what, so I'm going to take a photographic record of all of them as the blanket evolves. But they're all tied together, and they've all got amazing little cards that talk about which one is which, and they all have little tiny paper foxes on them, which I love. This one that I pulled out happens to be Quince & Co., which is such gorgeous stuff. I really love that. So thank you so much, Jenny. I'm like, again, this is way too generous of everybody. I don't even know what to say. Sorry for the pink thing. I'll just put that over there. And then Mina from Knitting Expat gave me as well a little bag full of like some sweets, some candies, some tea, which is amazing in there. And she gifted me a Mina Makes project bag, which is fantastic. This is super good quality, guys. Like Mina and I were talking about what she does when she's making them. The fact she uses 2 different kinds of interlining. And I just love this bag. And I love it that it's got a nice big handle on it. And honestly, really good stuff. So hopefully if you're interested in some bags, you will catch an update from her. And she gave me some more minis, which is awesome. So these, I think for the most part, she's actually tagged what they are. There's one that's unknown, which is amazing. I love that. I love the unknown. To me, it's more important for me to know where they came from, i.e. who gave them to me, because that's what's most important. That's what's going to create the memory for me. So thank you so much for that, Mina. Really, really sweet of you to do that. So I'm just trying to keep all this stuff together so I don't mess it all up. Okay. All right. While we're on the topic of minis, I also got this fantastic little cluster of minis. These are all from Andi from AndreSueKnits. And this, I just think she's just got it right. I mean, look at the little raffia tying around it with the little silver one. Like Andi Gorgeous, spoiling me again. It feels more like Christmas now than it did at Christmas. It's that kind of craziness. So again, some amazing, great colors in here. I will tell you right now, this super intense blue one, sorry, I'll try and turn it so you can see. There we go. This one is obvious. This is one of my favorites. That one's going in right away. And she let me know in a little card that some of these are actually hand spun as well. So, or from a sock blank, I think, which are kind of the kinky ones, which I love. They look amazing. So thank you so much for that, Andi. And I got this amazing little treasure trove from Jody at Mrs. Brown's Bags as well. So I've got another little cluster here, which these colors are fantastic as well. I'm in love with these. But speaking of Jody at Mrs. Brown's Bags, I'm sorry I'm jumping all over the place here, but she's actually given me the first Cal prize as well, which this is not an acquisition for me, but it could be for you. Look how amazing that is. So I'll go backwards a bit so you can see it. This is an amazing flannel, and this is like a really soft, it's a canvas, but it's not canvas, it's softer than canvas. It's got a great little Progress Keeper zipper pull that's actually got, it's suede on it, which is nice. The zipper is nice and big, and guys, the bag is like, well, for ladies, this would hold more than a shawl. This is probably a small sweater quantity for ladies. But for guys, this is really nice. This is a super lovely bag. I'm so pleased to be able to offer this as a prize for our giveaway. So that has arrived. Thank you so much, Jody. Really appreciate that. Okay. Jumping around. Okay. Oh, before I forget, Jenny also gave me this skein of Granite colorway WATERshed worsted weight from Harrisville Designs, which Jenny and I have been talking about sort of the comparison between Harrisville and Brooklyn Tweed, because Harrisville produces Brooklyn Tweed, but this feels much sturdier. I did a little sort of pull test to sort of see how friable, how pull party is the yarn, and it takes a bit more strength to pull this one apart. So I feel like this is going to be a little bit more comforting when I'm doing, sorry, that whatever it is that's making noise just won't stop. It's something outside. So I'm happy to be using these. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I posted a picture of the owl hat and the 70-yard fingerless mitts from Knitbot, and I kind of wasn't sure which one to make with it. I'll say the poll is now closed. It was an unofficial poll. The poll is now closed. The Harrisville Designs is going to be the fingerless mittens, but don't worry, I'm going to do the owl hat as well from Coco and Coco. Take a look at the pattern. Just Google it, Coco and Coco owl hat. You'll find it. It's stunning. I'll put it in the show notes as well. It's really cute, but I have all kinds of other yarn that I will use to make that, because I'm going to make that too. Okay, more shopping. I'm literally in no particular, I'm just making my way through the list here of what's on the chair. I also got my Quince & Co. order, which went a little bit missing for a little while. It could have just been in the post-holiday sort of postal mess. But I'd ordered 2 skeins of the Quince & Co. Lark in the Heathers. This one is the Sabine colorway. I had ordered Kumlian's Gull along with another color, and they were out of the Kumlian's Gull, so I took the Sabine instead. And I love this color. It's really it's sort of squishy, like Lark is, which I love, but it feels a little more rustic because it's the heathers. It's not the traditional, just plain Quince & Co. So I don't know what this is going to be as yet. I don't think it's got quite enough yardage. No, I don't think it does to do the owl hat, but that would make a really cool owl hat as well. So loving this, which is great. In that same order, I got also my Twig & Horn gauge measure, which is fantastic. It's got this sort of the needle holes at the bottom, but it's also perfectly measured for a 4" by 4" swatch. So that's kind of cool. So loving that. That's awesome. It wasn't expensive. I know it's just a piece of wood, but you know what? The branding on it is just gorgeous. I'm going to see if you can see in there how amazing that is. Even the eye is actually shaped like a twig in the Twig & Horn. For someone who's a brand person like me, that's kind of part and parcel of what we do in our agency. It makes me really happy to see just that level of detail. So that I love. Okay, what else to talk about? All right, let's just talk about things that I bought. So like I said, Mina and I spent a lot of time doing some shopping and picking up stuff. And I did not buy this at Vogue Knitting Live. I bought this at Knitty City, along with the last thing I'm going to show in the acquisitions, because it's my favorite. I love all this stuff, but that other stuff's my favorite. So this is Nooch fiber. This is, I think you guys are probably all aware that Nooch is, a lot of their colorways are, if not all of them, are inspired by paintings. This one is called An Orchid by Georgia O'Keeffe. Hi, sorry about that. So I record on my iPhone, and of course I got a phone call. I should have put on the Do Not Disturb, but I got a phone call right in the middle of that. So back to what I was saying. Nooch fiber, delicious gorgeousness, 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, sock weight yarn. This is going to be socks for sure because it's so squishy and yummy. But I say socks for sure, but it might not. I might use it for something else. I've got another yarn that might work with this as well, but it just, it feels so soft and delicious, and I love the colors. I'm not a big sort of neon sort of yellow color, but in this particular colorway, I adore it. So loving this. I also bought a hank of Biscotte Yarns. This is, I wish they would say what their colorway is on here, because it does not say. I'll put it in the show notes. But this is their self-striping sock yarn. So this one I love because, again, it's got sort of greens and teals, some white. They've got great quality in there. So this is their sock base, right? There's hazards of playing with too much yarn. 80% superwash merino wool, 85%, sorry, and 15% nylon. This is 400 meters, so it is enough to do socks. This will be socks for sure. These will either be for me or Sebastian. I haven't decided. But these guys are from Canada, so I was happy to see them at the show. I tried sort of throwing a few French language pieces in there, and they weren't biting. I think they're from Montreal, and for people who aren't familiar, Montrealers immediately, if you're speaking English, they'll just speak English to you. They don't speak much in the way of French to non-francophones. So that's some cool stuff. I also got this skein. This is also from Woolbearers from New Jersey. This is hand-dyed Woolbearers sock yarn, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. This is their Cape Verde colorway. It's not one that I would normally pick up, but Mina immediately saw it and was like, you have to have this. It's just, it's so interesting. It's got some really interesting, deep sort of 70s avocado speckles of green in there. It's got a lot of different blues and creams. I don't know that this will be, I don't think these will be socks, actually. I think I might make this into a cowl or something for me to wear, because I wear a pea coat in the winter. I think this would be really nice with the pea coat. So This is a fantastic find. Thank you, Mina, for pointing that one out, because I don't think I would have picked this one up on my own. So there's that one, and it keeps going. There's more, don't worry. This one from Shirsty Cat Designs by Kelly Straub. This one is called Cloudy Day. And she had a number of them that were sort of blues and grays along the way. It's ironic, it's a super cloudy day today. The lighting's not great today. Sorry about that. This is in their sock base, just sock. Superwash merino, 75% and 25% nylon. And I thought this was really good value, actually. It was $22, and it feels really nice. There were a lot of different colors that were slightly similar, but this is the one I liked the most. It took a while to decide which one to pick up, but I really like this one. I think these will be socks that will be perfect for sort of fall and winter and stuff. So I love those. Like I said, Mina, shopping with Mina, it's all about the sock yarn, and I was totally happy about that. I have 3 more sock yarns, believe it or not. The one booth that I liked, I think, the really best, and I'll talk more about sort of the experience in a bit, but the booth I think was most interesting was the Stephen B booth, which Josh from Sort of a Knitter podcast had sort of said, you know, make sure you go and check out that booth. So of course we did, and it was jumping. Oh my gosh, there was so much good selection in there. And so I picked this one up. This is the 3 Irish Girls yarn, and this is the Springvale sock base, 100% superwash merino wool, which I don't think these are going to be, this is not going to be socks, this will be something else. But this is the Trust Me, I'm the Doctor colorway. And if you haven't been able to tell from previous episodes, if you haven't tuned in before, I'll tell you now, I'm a big Doctor Who fan and sci-fi in general. So, and I have Doctor Who I've been watching since I was a teeny tiny little kid. And so this one I thought was just awesome. And it's super, super nice. It feels amazing. I've never had 3 Irish Girls yarn before, but the colors are just ridiculous. I mean, it's just brilliant. I really like this. This is going to stay in the stash for a while because I want to find the right project for it for sure. But I might just sort of leave this, you know, just out to admire for a while because it's so pretty. I'm freeing the stash, Andy and Kris. I'm freeing the stash. So there's that one. And then I have 2 more that I bought also at Stephen B. I bought 2 on the Friday, and then I went back and had to buy another one as well. And this one is Hedgehog Fibers, and this is their sock yarn base. And I'm almost going to need bifocals soon. 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon. And this, I saw this and just, you know, kind of had to have it right away. This is in the typewriter colorway, which all of these, you know, these great splotches of black and speckles, and even the variegation in the color itself is just stunning. This is definitely going to be socks for me. This I will not be sharing with anyone because I'm going to be greedy and take that one for myself. But absolutely love that. And then this is not, there's still another 6 to go that I haven't even shown you. So the first day when I was there with Mina, she found this skein, and I had already spent so much money. I thought, I can't really spend more today. I want to buy more tomorrow. But I saw this and went, I just have to have this. So this is Wild Hair Fiber Studio for Stephen B. And remember I said about how I like sci-fi? This one is called These Are the Droids You're Looking For, which I thought was just amazing. This is Pinnacle Fingering. This is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And I just had to have it. I mean, the colors are just so cool and so interesting. And I don't know what this is going to be yet either. I know it's sock based. I could make socks out of this, but it might be something else. But socks out of this would be awesome though. Sorry, I keep covering my face and I think it's kind of rude. I won't do that. I just love this. I mean, you look at that color. Look at those combinations. Like that to me is just stunning. I love that. So there's that. So that was sort of it for the shopping that I did at Vogue Knitting Live. But before we went to VKL, Mina and I made a trek out to Nitty City, and we went to Pearl Soho. I did not buy anything at Pearl Soho. I don't really know why. I just didn't, maybe because I'd already bought some stuff, I wasn't really in the mood yet. I wanted to wait, we hadn't been to the marketplace yet, so I was kind of hedging my bets that I would find other stuff that I liked. But first, we did go to Nitty City, and I did buy some stuff there. Again, I knew they had a booth, but Mina had a coupon for a discount, so we thought, and it wasn't, you couldn't use it at VKL, you had to use it at the store, so we had to buy something. Oh, there goes the heat. Sorry, I'm just going to stop this right here. Turn off the heat just for a moment so I can speak without being spoken over. Sorry about that. I just didn't want to have you have to struggle to hear me over the heater. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I did buy some stuff at Nitty City before the show, and again, if you follow me on Instagram, I posted a sort of a cryptic black and white version of the yarn that I'm going to show you now because I know you've been waiting long enough. It is in my Vogue Knitting Live tote bag that I picked up, and it's got a couple of buttons on here too. This one was from the ladies at Post Stitch, which I will talk about in a moment when I talk about my experience overall. One from Yarn Box, which I picked up, and then this one, I love Shetland. These are the people from Shetland Wool Week who published the bobble hat pattern. They actually had one in exactly the same colorway that I did, and that was kind of cute to see. It was kind of fun. So anyway, inside this bag are 5 skeins of Madeline Tosh yarn. These are all in the Nitty City exclusive 10th anniversary colorways that I picked out with some help from Mina because Mina was wearing her Exploration Station shawl. And after having seen Molly from Homespun House's one that she had done for her husband Robert, I decided that maybe I could see myself wearing one of those. And then I saw Mina's and went, the colors are so her, but why wouldn't I be able to make one that's out of the colors that are so me? So I did pick some colors with, you know, Mina and I, we collaborated and we came out with it. So I'm going to do these one at a time and then I'll show you them all together. So these are all Madeline Tosh in the Tosh Merino Light. And this first color is the Manhattan Schist, which is the sort of bedrock color that the bedrock that Manhattan is built on. So there's that one. And then I have this second one. This is Brooklyn Brownstone, which is just a gorgeous color. You're starting to see maybe how these are all going to work together. And then I have the next one. This one is Urban Flagstone. I'm just checking the names to make sure I get it right. I love this one. I would love a sweater out of this color. I would love that so hard. But we're going to keep moving because you have to see them all together, sort of get the whole thing. And then this one is Grand Central Station Ceiling, which I loved this color as well. So I'm going to hold them all up together because this is the color palette for my Exploration Station. You can sort of see how that might all work together. I love these colors. I have yet to figure out sort of exactly which colors are going to be used for which. I kind of have an idea. Mina and I talked about it over dinner one night, so not bad having help from Mina on planning your shawl. But I did buy another one when I was back on, I guess it was this Saturday. I went back to the Nitty City booth, and they had them there as well. And I bought one more because I thought, just in case. This one is the New York Aquarium colorway, which I absolutely love this color as well. This is just so nifty. So there was, where is it? La la la. I was kind of thinking that the Nooch and the Madeline Tosh might work together, but it could also work as just a pop of color. I might make something else out of it, but I had to have another one. So I bought 5 of, yeah, I know. I honestly have to say, I feel like I'm a bit overwhelmed with the amount that I bought. I did go a bit nuts. I know that. I'm just going to put that down. But here's the thing. the exchange rate in Canada is terrible right now into US dollars. It's almost 40 cents premium. So none of this was cheap. But the prices were better than what I would get them for here anyway. Even with the exchange, it was still a bit better. So at Knitty City, these were $23.50. Plus there's like really no tax on, I forget what loophole it is, like garments aren't taxed under $100. So there wasn't a lot of in New York State. So there were some savings to be had even with the exchange rate. And I sort of thought when it came to the Madeleine Tosh, buying it at a new local yarn shop is awesome. But also having the opportunity to get exclusive colors that I can't get here. I'd have to order them, plus pay shipping and duty and everything else. Plus, what better sort of memory would I ever want to make of my time at Vogue Knitting Live than to have a new friend from, UK, well, Bahrain via UK, other way around, help me sort of figure out which colorways to do something that I would just love to do anyway. So I thought, what the heck, I'm going to buy all the stuff. I am stashed up for a while. I have all the minis, I have all the yarns, I have socks that I can make till my hands are numb. So I think I'm good for the rest of the season, so to speak. So I'm going to take a little break right now. I'm going to put some of this stuff away, and then I'm going to just talk a little bit about my experience at Vogue Knitting Live. I have one more acquisition that I'm going to show you that's sort of part of what the class was. So if you're interested in coming back and hearing more about what VKL was like for me as a first-time attendee, please come on back. But if you're just wanting to stop in to see what the yarn looks like, happy to have had you, and check the show notes. I'll link all of the suppliers and colorways in the show notes. Okay, we'll see you in a few minutes. Hi, welcome back. Thanks for your patience as I sort of reset the decks because I had to move all the yarn off. So what was Vogue Knitting like? So I would say it was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had. I really, really enjoyed my time. It was one of the first times I felt like I'd found a community of people that I really, 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 really enjoy spending time with. It was hard to say goodbye at the end of the night. When I was, on Friday, it was hard to say goodbye on Saturday. Even on Sunday, it was hard to sort of leave because I didn't want the experience to end. So I think that speaks volumes. Will I go back? Absolutely, 100%. Will I do classes? I don't know. I really enjoyed the classes, and I'll talk a little bit about each one and what I think I got out of it, and was it of value to me. I don't know. I would rather do more lectures and be able to spend just more time socializing with people and getting to know people. And I didn't leave myself a lot of time to do that. So I think that's the only thing I would do differently. So I flew in on Friday morning, and it was a long day. I'm not going to lie. I woke up at 4, left the house at 4:30, got to the airport, flew down, then got to the hotel, dropped off my bag. My room wasn't ready yet, but that's okay because I was there at, I think, 9:30, 9:45, something like that. But then Mina came to join me from Knitting Expat, and we hit the ground running. So we first headed uptown. We were a bit early for Knitty City to open, so we had a nice coffee. I was so nervous. She's super, super lovely, but I was so nervous meeting her at first because, here's these people, I'm a bit of a fanboy, right? So, I was a bit in awe of her knitting speed in person. It's something to behold, I will say. So it was good when we went to Knitty City, and we just sort of made our way through all the yarn, and they had tons and tons and tons of stuff in bags that was, I think, probably destined to be sort of trekked on down to Vogue Knitting Live at some point as just sort of like stock overflow. But they had great, great stuff in there. Amazing shop. It's kind of small. I would say my own local yarn shop that I really like going to, the Purple Pearl here in Toronto, is about the same size, but it was jammed full of cool stuff. Really good, excellent selection. Most of the people were really nice in the shop, but the cashier probably could use a little customer service training. She was not that friendly. Mina and I put our purchases together so that we could sort of use her. She had a coupon from other purchases she'd made there. So, of course, we wanted to save some money, so why not use it? But we asked for an extra bag so that we could sort of divide up our purchases between us. And she wasn't quite very forthcoming. So, it was okay. You know, not a big deal. Then we left there and we took the subway back downtown and we went to Pearl Soho, which I will say is quite impressive. And if it wasn't for the fact that it was so busy, I would have loved to spend a bit more time there. But we had bags and I had my backpack and it was just like, it was a bit overwhelming. I would love to. It's the kind of store that on a sort of rainy afternoon, I would love to spend some time there and just sort of poke through all the yarn and poke through the fabric. I didn't even get to the back of the room to where they have all the fabric. But the people there seemed much friendlier, which is kind of nice. But I'll definitely be going back there. I'll definitely check it out. Then we had to go running back uptown because I had a class in the afternoon. So I had all my stuff with me. So I went to my first class, and Mina was staying in the same hotel as Vogue Knitting Live was being held in, so it was pretty easy. My first class was Knitting Magic with Patty Lyons, who I adored. She was sick as a dog, poor thing, so they brought her a microphone so she could talk. But I loved the fact that she was using a projector with an iPad, so you could actually see the technique being delivered right in front of you, so you could see what she was doing. I would say that needs to be implemented across all of their classes if they're doing technique classes. But the gist of it was getting to learn how to do magic loop, which I already taught myself to do. The thing is, when I signed up, I didn't know how to do it, and I thought, oh, that's something I really want to learn how to do. So it was the first part of it. I won't say it was a waste because it was still interesting. It was a good way to sort of ease into things. But what I really enjoyed was some of the refinements that she gave on technique. You know, don't tug so hard on the first stitch, how to get away from, so that, you know, when you're pulling your needle through, how to make it a little bit looser, a little easier to manage. So Patty, kudos for you for sticking it through. Loved the class. Poor thing, she thought I was, I went to say thank you at the very end because I really appreciated her time. She thought I was bored. I'm like, no, God, no, I wasn't bored at all. I happened to be texting and stuff on Instagram just, you know, because that's kind of what I had to do. But I wasn't bored. I really enjoyed her class. It was a very good start to my VKL experience. Then we finished that, and what did we do? Oh, I brought something to eat with me. We'd stopped off at a cafe in Times Square to pick up something to eat. So I'd eaten, but then it was, what did we do after that? Sebastian was coming in that night, so he was flying in. He was texting me to let me know when he was going to get in. So that was all cool. But it was, oh, I know what we did after that. We went to the marketplace. That's what we did. So I would say that the Friday night was much better in terms of volume of people. It was a lot easier to get around than it was on Saturday. And all the same selection was out. There was an amazing selection of stuff. But it was opening only, I think, from 5 till 8. But we were there literally till, I think, 5 minutes to 8. Sebastian had got into the hotel already, so we spent some time talking with a number of people. We ran into the ladies at Post Stitch, which I couldn't have said, like, oh my God, they're so awesome. They're so fantastic. I really, really enjoyed spending some time with them. They'd invited Mina and I to go and hang out with them afterwards just to, you know, sit around, do some knitting. But I just knew I was going to be too tired after dinner. Like it had been a long day already. And because Saturday was going to be so jam-packed, I wanted to make sure I got a decent night's sleep. So we picked up Sebastian at the hotel, and Mina took us to a pizza place that was just sort of across the street from Madison Square Garden, which was awesome. The pizza was so good. But by that point, I was starving. So Sebastian and I kind of split, you know, a bunch of slices of pizza. Then we walked back to the hotel, which, you know, the hotel was a perfect location. It was fantastic. It wasn't in Times Square. It was on 6th Avenue. And so it was only about 4 or 5 blocks from the venue, which was fantastic. So we got in, went to bed. Then on Saturday, got up early, had breakfast in the hotel, and then went to my first class of the day, which I will say two things. It was fantastic. It was knitting in Japanese. I learned so much in that class. I was so inspired. Loved the class. Fantastic. And I'll show you a little bit of sort of what that looks like. You saw my knitted cable cap or hat from the pattern that I've started. Maria is a fantastic instructor. She's well prepared. She knows her stuff. Really appreciated her in the class. What I didn't appreciate about it was they were in the breakout rooms that were sort of off behind one of the floors of the marketplace, and they hadn't closed the the divider between the rooms. They hadn't closed it all the way, and I was sitting right at the front of the class, and not by choice. I usually would do that by choice. It just happened to be I got there a bit late, so I wasn't really able to choose another seat. So I could hear people on the other side, but it wasn't really that distracting. I was fine. But one of the organizers from VKL came in and said, guys, we're sorry, we have to open the door and close it again, so it closed all the way. So we had to take a 10-minute break, which it sort of interrupted the flow a little bit. I mean, I wasn't that upset by it because it happened to be right at 10 o'clock when the marketplace opened, and I was already in the marketplace. I didn't have to queue up. I just popped out and went and bought some more needles because I felt like I needed some more Haya sharps. So got back to the class, and then everything was fine. But she came in again and said, oh, you're being too loud. Like, you know what? This isn't my problem. This is your problem as an organizer. I really just want to learn, so stop interrupting. Poor Maria. I know she did a great job, fantastic job. I felt confident coming out of it that I would be able to read another pattern. She gave us a lot of tools to take home with us, like handouts that I can use to translate some patterns. So I'll just show you really quickly. The pattern that we used is this one. And like I said, it's a free pattern. Here's the thing. Almost all Japanese patterns are one page. They assume you know an awful lot about knitting. And it's a cultural thing, and I won't, she teaches a class in this, and it's an online class as well, so take her class if you're interested. But comparing to, like, say, a Brooklyn Tweed pattern, which are, I think the Rift pattern is 16 pages long. Now, there's charts for different sizes, stuff like that. But in comparison, they just assume you know a heck of a lot. So that's kind of cool. But I was really inspired to continue with it. I am going to continue making the hat because I really want that hat. But we were staying on 6th Avenue just, I think, 2 blocks from Kinokuniya, which is a Japanese bookstore that Maria had recommended to go to check out if you're interested in more patterns and stuff. And I picked up a fun little pattern book, which I loved this. There was another woman that was there at the same time that I was, perusing the same pattern. So I'm wondering if she had also taken Maria's class. I didn't recognize her from my class, but because I was in the front of the room, I didn't get a chance to really see anybody else. So she may have been in my class, and if you were, hi. If you weren't, I'm pretty sure she was too. But what I thought was amazing in this book is there's so many, she's so right, this is Maria, the photography, the way that they style things, like, that's just, it's so cute. There are some definite things that I will make in here. There's a lot of color work in them, very Nordic inspired designs. So anyway, I picked that up on Sunday. I didn't pick that up on Saturday. I didn't have time on Saturday. But on Sunday it was fantastic. So I did that class first, and then it was finished a little bit early. So I met up with Mina, and we went and got something to go and get for lunch, so I could sort of have something to eat. So grabbed that before the lecture. So we went back in, and it was so funny because everywhere I go with Mina, people were recognizing her and coming up to her and asking her, are you Mina? And of course, she was so sweet. She's so reserved about, wanting to promote herself, but people loved meeting her, which is fantastic. It was so good to see. So we were sitting down in the hotel just trying to eat some of our salad, And no sooner than she actually had just put her fork in her salad, she's halfway up, and someone came over to say hi to her. And I thought, oh, you poor thing, you're never going to eat again, at least not here at VKL. But that was kind of fun. So then I left her then because I had to go to my lecture. So my second sort of event of the day was the Scandinavian design lecture with Arnie and Carlos, which I knew who they were, but I knew what they did currently, but I didn't know anything about their legacy, what they had done in the past, and it was phenomenal to see. The room was packed with people who just wanted to see what they did and how they did it and why, their color inspirations, how they get inspired. If you get a chance to see them for any reason, you should really go and take advantage of it, because I just found it so amazing. Sorry, my phone just keeps pinging. There's all kinds of emails coming through. Next time, note to self, put on Do Not Disturb. So that lecture was amazing. And I was wearing my, it's just a J. Crew colorwork sweater. You've seen it if you've watched a couple of the other podcasts that I've done. I had a lot of people asking me if I had knit that sweater, which, okay, flattering, but no, there was no way I would have knit, because it's in super fine weight commercial. Like, I don't even think it's fingering. I think it's like lace weight color work. That would have taken me 2 years to do. But I thought it was appropriate anyway to wear to a knitting conference. But so that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that one. I would see them again in a heartbeat. But then I had to run out because I knew I wanted to try and run back to the marketplace, because I wanted to pick up some more stuff from Stephen B, which I did. And as I was coming out of the marketplace, and I had to go and meet Jessie to pick up all of the minis that she had for me, I'm just walking by. I must have walked by them, didn't see them the first time, but I nearly tripped over Devin and Jenny from Tiny Paper Foxes. I saw Mina first, and then I turned and saw, oh my God, there's Jenny and Devin and Tonya from Knitting Spring and Gabby from Once Upon a Corgi, just sitting down having a nice old knitting time. And I thought, oh, I would really rather have just sat down and just chilled and relaxed and got to talk. But the fact that they agreed to talk to me after the fact was kind of comforting, because I was like a mad person. I was so excited to see them. I was running around. I was running on the yarn fumes were getting to me, I think. And I was just, it was all this sort of build up where I was nervous about meeting people, like I said earlier in this podcast, kind of dissipated because I didn't have a chance to be nervous. They were just there. So, but I was a little bit on nervous energy. But I just loved meeting them, and everyone was so nice. But then I had to leave because I went to meet Jessie, and her sister Ronnie was there knitting away on, I think she was knitting socks. So it was lovely to have a nice little catch up with her, get to know a little bit about what she knits and what she does. And then I had to go to my last class, which was, and I'm going to get this wrong if I don't think about it for a second, 15 clever cast-ons and beautiful bind-offs. Yes. By Debbie Stoller, who is the author of the Stitch and Bitch books, which was a substitute class for one that I had wanted to take, but I had to change the class. And I've talked about this, I think, an episode or two ago. So it was something new. It was something different. I enjoyed the class. I was a little bit late getting there, so I kind of had to squeeze myself into a spot. I found it rather basic. Even for me as a relatively new knitter, I found it kind of basic. There were some people that didn't know how to do longtail cast on, which, I don't know, maybe that's not the way people learn, but that was the first thing that I learned how to do. So I found it a bit unusual that was kind of a problem for some people. But I got to learn some really cool stuff, like the old Norwegian longtail cast on was amazing. It was so cool. If you haven't checked it out, you must. It's really neat. Learned how to do a Pico cast on and bind off, which was amazing. I had never done an I-cord before, so it was kind of nice to see how to do an I-cord bind off. Anyway, it was So there were parts of that were interesting, but I found it in one way really frustrating because as Debbie's trying to demonstrate things, she was walking around, so you'd see the first sort of half of how to do the stitch, and then she'd turn around and show it to the other half of the room. Well, I need to see how to do this. She did come up with some really kind of clever ways of demonstrating sort of on a macro scale how to understand where the needle is going and how the yarn needs to twist and stuff. So I can't really fault her for that. I think she's used to maybe smaller classes. There was probably about 30 people in that one. And a lot of people, like I said, at varying skill levels. So it was kind of hard to sort of see where people were used to maybe working with the yarn, not working. I don't know. It was okay. Would I do it again? Not that one. No. That was the only one that afterwards my review of the class was not terribly. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't terribly positive either. So, but I did, got to talk to some new people, and that was nice. There was one woman though that, if it wasn't for the fact that I was trying to sort of be nice and not, be my normal self, which, I only take people being rude for so long before I typically will speak up. But I thought, it's not my class. I'm not running it. It's not really that big a deal. But there was one woman sitting in the front row who, I don't know if she thought she was being helpful, but I didn't think it was very helpful because the way that the demonstrations were being done, a lot of us were helping each other, trying to figure out how to do stuff. And as soon as Debbie went to speak, instead of just giving the class a second to sort of refocus, she was immediately heavy on the shushing of people. And I thought, you're either an ex-teacher or something. And it was grating on my nerves because I thought, it's a class. We're here all to learn. We're trying to help each other. That's kind of what community is built on. So almost like, how dare you? Don't shush me. I'm an adult. We're all adults. I think the youngest person in the room was, in her 20s, maybe. But we're all still adults. We don't need to be shushed. Anyway, I thought that was a little bit rude. So whatever. Finished that class. It was all good. By that point, I was classed out. I didn't want to do any more classes, which was good because I didn't have any more scheduled. I didn't want to do any more shopping. I bought enough stuff. But then it was time to go and meet everybody for the Podcasters meetup that Jenny from Tidy Paper Foxes and I were hosting. So I went to Mina, and a whole bunch of people were over at a cafe waiting for us to sort of get together. They had gone for a meal. Jenny and Devin had gone elsewhere, I think, as well. So I showed up and picked everybody up, and we went over to the Latitude Bar on 8th, which is where we held the meetup. And I will say it was amazing. I got to meet so many people. I'm not going to remember everybody's names because I was so overwhelmed by everything going on that I just was like, ugh. But I had a great conversation. I finally, got a chance to talk to Devin, which was it was kind of nice to get his perspective on not just yarny things, but just life in general, and got to talk to him. I got to meet Kristin from Yarngasm and Vine. So I'm just going to take some tea. Gosh, so many people that I got to meet that, like I said, if I mention one and I forget somebody, I'll feel really bad. So I'm not going to just mention, random people's names. But I will say that the highlight for me was not necessarily any one individual moment of that particular meetup. It was just the entire fact that people showed up. Everyone was happy to be there, was excited to be there. I know I was. Sebastian joined us as well. He'd spent the day sort of hanging out in New York and visiting with a friend. So it was lovely to get to see everybody. Will I do that again? Yeah, totally. I know Jenny and I were both a bit nervous, like, oh, what if nobody comes, or what if people are mean or expect this, or what's the expectation? I don't know. I was kind of nervous, but trying to just go, just go with the flow, right? If nothing else, I'll have a drink or two, and that'll sort of chill me out. So Devin and I I think it was in a Tiny Paper Foxes forum, one of the discussion threads had decided that the drink of the night was going to be called the Lendrum, which I had decided one of my favorite cocktails is just ginger ale with Crown Royal, which is Canadian whiskey, and I guess it could be any kind of whiskey really, and some lime juice. So I had a couple of those, which kind of helped things a little bit, so to speak. Adult beverages, Jenny. And then I guess, we were there actually a lot longer than I expected, but it was the right kind of venue because people were really sociable, and because it was a bit louder, people had to really talk. It wasn't just people sitting around knitting, though a lot of people were knitting, which was kind of nice to see. It was kind of cool. I would probably choose a different venue maybe next time. But now that I kind of know what to expect, it would be a little easier to do that. But I just wanted to say to Alex, who is I believe to be amazing on Ravelry, thank you so much for organizing that and setting up the venue. That it really was the perfect venue for that event. And I can't thank you enough for having done that. That was really, really nice of you to help us like that. So then we all decided to sort of make our own way to head home. It was a bit late. I know, I was pretty tired. But here's the thing. None of us, it's sort of like this little group of us kept walking, and then, one or two people would go this way or that way. But it was almost like no one really wanted to say goodbye, which to me was probably the most telling thing about the experience, that I didn't want to say goodbye. But we did, because we had to. And I think the hardest part was just being like, it sort of ended before it started. Not ended before it started. It ended before I wanted it to, that's for sure. I could have sat with this entire group of people and talked for, just days. Not just about knitting, but, knitting folk are good folk. So it was kind of nice to talk to everybody. But I hadn't had dinner yet by that point. So I met up with Mina and Jaclyn from Brooklyn Knitfolk, and Sebastian and I decided to go and grab a bite to eat. So we went to a Japanese restaurant just outside of Times Square and had ramen, which was fantastic. I really liked mine. Poor Sebastian, he wasn't sure what to have, so he ordered the vegan one. But of course, he doesn't like mushrooms. So what else do you put in but a lot of mushrooms? So I think he kind of picked around his mushrooms a little bit. But I really enjoyed mine. And then it was time to say goodbye. But before we did, we went back to Times Square, where we took some pictures up on the great big red staircase, and got some pictures of Mina and Jaclyn in their Stephen West shawls. I think Mina's was the exploration station, and Jaclyn's was the doodler. And then Sebastian and I got a picture taken. It was so funny because we had a let's say gregarious homeless man sort of photo bomb or photo shoot. Mina's giving me this mysterious look as she's taking the picture, and I wasn't sure what was going on until afterwards, and I saw him sort of leave and of course ask for money or something. So it was actually quite hilarious. And then Sebastian and I went back to the hotel and basically called it a night. Pretty pooped by then. And I had to go through all the yarns and make sure that I still, loved everything, which I did. And then from there, the next day, we just went down. We had breakfast at the hotel. We went and did a little shopping at Trader Joe's. I went to the Kinokuniya bookstore, the Japanese bookstore. We packed up our stuff, got on a flight, and came home. And that was kind of it. That was the end of Vogue Knitting Live. So I have a feeling, like I said, this is going to be the longest episode I've done in a really long time. I'm really hoping that you stuck through. If you did, great. Thank you. If you didn't make it through to this point, that's fine too. But you wouldn't even know if I was saying thank you or not, because you didn't make it to this point. I may or may not podcast again this weekend. You may get 2 in 1 week, but it really depends. Sebastian's working all weekend. And I've got some plans for these cabinets that you can see that are mounted to the wall right up here are full of things like paperwork and stuff that we don't really need to store in the house. And we've got a storage locker. So my idea is, and you can't see them in the shot, but there are the same kind of white doors that are here, are also above part of the cabinets. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean out those, and I'm going to use that as my stash storage area. So it's not quite freeing the stash, but it will be more accessible. And I've got a lot of stash that I'm currently sort of tucking away in closets that I kind of feel like it needs to be taken care of. So that's kind of what I'm going to do this weekend. If I get a chance to do some podcasting this weekend, I will. But I think that's about it for now. I think the light is fading anyway, so it's probably time to wrap this up. So thank you so much for joining. Join us in the Ravelry group if you would like to. If you don't, that's fine too. I'm happy to have you just be watching me on YouTube. That's all good. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll hopefully see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.